Cocaine is a very dangerous drug. Here is the story of 3 people whose lives were crushed by this drug. Peter was a very good student in school. One day, when he was watching TV, he saw on the news about how a drug called cocaine and how it sold for about $160 a gram. Since he was saving up for a PS4 and a car, and his day job at the downtown Kentucky Fried Chicken wasn't paying enough to buy one, he decided to start to make and sell cocaine. He made cocaine by first picking the leaves off of a cocoa plant. He would then cut them up and dust them with salt. Then add kerosene or diesel fuel and stir it for about 3 days. After that, he would add some sulfuric acid that he would just happen to have lying around. After that dried, he would have cocaine. Peter became very rich off cocaine. Peter bought lots of things, such as a flat-screen TV, a PS4, and got himself one sick ride. Pretty soon, making cocaine became the only thing he could think of. He started to fail school and eventually dropped out. But that was okay, because he was making fat stacks from his cocaine operation. Then one day he got into a fight with another drug lord. And he shot him. And he died. Don't end up like Peter and be a person laying dead on the ground, and don't do cocaine! Eddie was a friend of Peter who heard of his cocaine operation and wanted to get in on the action. So Peter gave Eddie the task of dealing out his good stuff to the general public. Eddie soon learned lots of things about cocaine. He learned it could be injected, smoked, or snorted. He also learned that it came from the cocoa plant. Using this information, he unsuccessfully tried to get high off a Hershey's chocolate bar. Eddie was actually very good about getting the cocaine around. But upon learning that his supplier was dead, he began to worry, so he just hid inside his car for about 2 days. After a while, the police found him, and the 20 pounds of cocaine he had on him at the time. Eddie was arrested and sentenced to 50 years in prison. Don't end up like Eddie and become someone's prison plaything, and don't do cocaine! Dan loves to play video games and is quite good at them, but lately he's been having some trouble. Usually when he plays, he ends up dying because he loses his concentration. Right now, he's trying to level up, but can't because he keeps getting killed. He remembers how his friend Eddie said that if he ever needed a boost to concentration, that he'd hook him up with some of the good stuff for free. Dan decides it's worth it and gets a hit from Eddie. After taking the cocaine, Dan experiences an extreme increase of energy, decrease in appetite, more mental alertness, and a faster heart rate. Dan went on that night to level up 20 times more than he expected. Whoa! Eat that in the face! After a few days of taking his first dose of cocaine, he felt the need to keep getting cocaine until, plot twist, he became addicted. Wow, nobody saw that coming. Anyways, cocaine began to become the center of Dan's life. He went broke because the only thing he was buying was cocaine. He also couldn't get any more from Eddie because he was in prison. Dan began buying cocaine from the Medellin drug cartel, which is a really smart idea. Pretty soon, Dan became in debt to the cartel. Luckily, everyone knows about the pure kindness of the cartel. Because Dan could no longer pay, the cartel decided to treat Dan to a little vacation. Don't end up like Dan, being forcefully shoved into the trunk of a car by angry Colombian drug lords, and don't do cocaine!